House of Delegates member from the Beach. He represents the 84th District there. Republican Glenn Davis. Great to have you with us, Glenn.
Great to be there, John. How you doing this morning?
Doing fantastic. Now, we understand you were a little under the weather. How do you feel?
Feeling great now. You know, John, every year there always seems to be some bug going around the Capitol, and this year it kicked in pretty hard last week. Cosgrove had it. It hit me on Thursday. Don the Wave has got it now. Short session, I guess, is no different than long. That bug's still going to get you, but I think we're all doing well.
I hate to give these numbers out, but for anybody following it, HB 2320, just a long story short, that's Delegate Ben Klein's $16,000 college degree bill, which we've been following here on the John Fredericks Show, because I think that is a platform that somebody could get elected governor of Virginia on. You know, with all the school debt and all the fees you have to pay and everything else. I mean, to be able to send your child to college for $16,000 and get a legitimate bachelor's degree, I think that's got legs. Where do we stand on this?
You know what? It's flying through the House, John. It's over in the Senate now, and it's a great idea. It really is. I mean, Ben really was on to something, and this isn't something that hasn't been done. The Western Governors University, which was 19 governors who got together, created this online university to provide a $16,000 college degree, and that's not $16,000 a year. That's $16,000 for the full 4 years. And they put this online university together. Well, Ben's idea is, why don't we just take the Virginia universities that we have and all this resource, put them together, and be able to provide that same online opportunity for $16,000. I think it's great. It's going to be an awesome opportunity for students in the Commonwealth to get an affordable degree with some of the best resources still that the Commonwealth has to offer, and probably also create a significant amount of intellectual property for our universities.
That's the bottom line is we want to be able to keep the youngest, brightest in Virginia, and a lot of kids having to go out of state. That's called the brain drain, because many of them don't come back. But really, at the end of the day, you've got the number of students, Delegate Davis, coming out of school with tremendous debt, $80,000, $90,000, $70,000, $100,000. They have a BA in history. I mean, it's just tough to make that up, right?
Oh, it is. I mean, I know it's a cliche, John, but knowledge is truly power. And you've got two problems. The first is you've got Virginians that can't afford to even walk through, the doors of college knowing that they're going to be $100,000 in debt, so they don't have that opportunity. And then you have the ones that can afford it, and they do, but then they come out the backside, $100,000 in debt, and try to manage, that, while they're just getting themselves off the ground with regard to their career and their life. So this would help, provide great quality education with the resources of Virginia institutions, and allow both those segments to have that opportunity. So I think it's great. And like with everything in economics and free markets, it's going to push down the cost of other similar services, which is other universities. So I would expect that this may force other universities, not just in Virginia, but even surrounding Virginia, to find ways to decrease their costs.
If you guys can get this done, this might be one of the most significant pieces of legislation that's come out of the General Assembly in a long time. And so keep fighting for that, keep working on it. And again, I predict if this doesn't get signed into law, somebody in 2017 can run for governor on this platform and win. Delegate Davis, I want to get to the A to F grading for public schools in Virginia. Now, this started out, I was in favor of it. It looked like a really great idea, because if you're going to move into a school district, you could go online, you could just see what the grade is. And if it's an F, well, you don't want to be there. You want to buy your home or rent somewhere else, right? The problem is the grading mechanism. If you get stigmatized with a D or an F, you can't dig your way out of it. So how do we stand on it, and what do you think we ought to do?
Well, I mean, John, you're 100% right. When this first was put in, the idea of ranking schools, it was and still is a good idea, I believe, and it can be done today. The idea of using A through F as the grade scale, I think, does exactly what you said, which is it stigmatizes not just a school but a student. I mean, middle school kids may not understand a lot, but they understand the whole. If I go to a D school, I'm expected to be a D student because I have D teachers. None of that's true. But that's what we need to avoid. And so a number of us last year we put bills in and actually postponed the implementation of A through F. This year, a number of us put bills in that would eliminate the use of the grading scale similar to A through F. And a bill came out of the House this year, sponsored by Delegate Glenn, that basically pushed an overhaul of the A through F system. So now it's back to the Board of Education. They're going to come back with kind of not just what they think the grade scale should be, but also what should be graded, which I think is as important. In other words, it's great to know whether your school's doing good or poor in certain things, but you also want to know what direction they're heading. I mean, are you in a school that is it used to be an A school that's now a B minus, which B minus some people may say, well, it's not that bad, but it's pretty bad if you used to be an A school the year before, or are you a C plus school that last year was a D school, and obviously that shows you've got some pretty amazing teachers there. They're doing a lot to turn their students around and help them achieve. So we're trying to put some metrics in there that truly kind of help provide a trend line as well, not just a snapshot in time.
That's really the key issue. You want a trend line and just not, one day or one, as you say, snapshot in time. Delegate Davis, what do you say, though, to parents that are looking for a surefire way to get a handle on exactly where a school system rates when they're going to come into an area, when they're choosing an area?
And we're still going to provide that, John. We want to be able to provide a situation where the schools are stacked ranked, because I truly believe that if you can always find something from those that are achieving well to take and use to help those that haven't hit that same achievement level yet. And there still will be some type of system in place from a grading perspective. It just, in my opinion, should not be A through F. You shouldn't tell a kid you go to a D school. You shouldn't tell a teacher you teach at a D school. But if there's a lot of other mechanisms we can use.
All right, that makes sense. Let's get to your ID management bill. Now, as soon as somebody hears the word ID management, like, okay, what does this mean? But it's really a pretty good idea. You've partnered on it with Tom Rust. Can you explain exactly what it is?
Sure. This is something that came out of a commission Tom and I were on over the summer. It allows businesses in Virginia to stand up, and their sole purpose is to be able to verify someone's online identity for the person or business on the other side of the computer. It's all voluntary. You don't have to participate in it, but if you're someone that does contracts or buys goods and services with other businesses or individuals somewhere else in the country or the world, and you want to provide a way that someone can verify that it's truly you on the other side of that computer as you're executing those contracts, this allows companies that do just that for you to exist in Virginia. There was concern over, what should the liabilities be and that sort of thing, which was impeding those businesses from being started in Virginia. We've resolved that. The bill has gone through the House. It's now over in Watkins is carrying a version of it in the Senate. So I think it's completely fine. It'll pass this year, but it really is one of those situations where Virginia's going to lead the way. We'll be the first to get this done.
And it's not intrusive, right? Because it's the way you've set it up is it's voluntary, isn't it?
Oh, it is. It is. It's completely voluntary, but there's a lot of people or business owners or individuals that are looking for a way to have their identification online verified. So the person on the other side of the computer would feel comfortable entering into certain contracts with them. It's going to be great for business. And some people think, well, I can use this when I buy from Amazon, and that's really not quite what it's for. This is truly for entering into business contracts where someone's trying to, verify that I do have the right person on the other side of the computer who's executing these documents.
Right. Look, I think that makes a lot of sense because remember there was a scandal recently in Virginia Beach where somebody sold property or was able to sell property that they actually didn't know. And remember that? It was all done online. It was all done over the internet. It was all the person never actually showed up. So he created, or she, we don't know who it is, the person that committed the crime simply created documents like a deed and all that, remember? And and so one day the owner didn't own his land and didn't so the ID was never verified. Your ID initiative would have stopped that potentially, right?
It would have. The business on the other side, the buyer, I guess, could have said, look, we want to use this service. Get verified by this entity, and at that point they wouldn't have been able to. The process, it looks like, is going to include the DMV. So someone that wants to make access to this in conjunction with the private company will actually also go down to the DMV. The DMV will be part of verifying someone's identity to give them this third-party token or whatever the company wants to use to allow them to verify that it is truly them at the computer.
Delegate Davis, cats and dogs living together. You co-signed the minority leader's bill, the Democrat from Charlottesville, David Toscano's bill on property taxes. Can you explain why and what it is?
Yeah, I think he's becoming a Republican, or at least for that 1 second, John. I have to hand it to the minority leader. This is a great bill. I put a bill in last year related to property taxes to help the small business owner, and this one he put in this year that allows. In Virginia, every year business owners have to fill out their business property, their personal property tax forms for their businesses, and it's everything. There is no what's called de minimis amount right now, so it's list your computer keyboard, list your mouse, list your speakers to your computer, list the chair that you're sitting on, list the little file holder and that sort of thing, everything in your office. His bill says anything with an original cost of less than $250 and now can become a separate classification of tangible property. And then when you report it, you can aggregate and estimate the total value of such property as opposed to having to list it all by item. And literally every 2 years, John, I pay someone in my business, and other business owners do this, to go through and run an audit of everything I have in my office, from trash cans to staplers to, you name it, so I can make sure I comply with this. And that's what this kind of gets rid of. This says, okay, you don't have to do anything like that now for items that you purchase for less than $250. Just kind of aggregate it all together, give us a value on it, and then, of course, for everything over $250, you still have to list item by item. So this really takes away some kind of the onerous part of filing this document.
I tell you what, talk about common sense legislation, Delegate Davis. Anybody that owns a business, anybody out there has have to gone through itemizing all of this stuff. It is so stupid. It makes no sense. It's a reason not to own a business. It's so bad in Virginia. And congratulations for signing on with that. And look, I have Toscano on my show all the time. I always say he's not really that bad. Here's what you need to do. Go to glennrdavis.com, glennrdavis.com. Sign up for the Delegate Glenn R. Davis newsletter, and you're good to go.